Hey, what's happening, Wellington? I'm here at Bats Theatre having a chat with Willem and Jean about the Young and Hungry New Works Workshop Festival. What is it all about?
Young and Hungry is a festival of new works in which like 3 New Zealand playwrights they have written a new New Zealand work, especially for to be performed by young people for young people. Then throughout like workshopping and eventually like coming to a stage that like they're asking New Zealand directors to be attached to one of these plays, and it's actually like a whole festival of young people working on New Zealand plays, especially made for young people. So the whole team that we're working with is all under 26.
Jean, what's the sort of background? How did Young and Hungry how was it birthed?
I think it's 15 years old, is that right? 14 years old? Yeah, so it was a group of professional practitioners got together and decided that they wanted to particularly produce a festival that was geared towards bringing young people in so that young people could work with more established practitioners. They started this trust 14 years ago, and every year have produced 3 plays, and Bats Theatre here is really supportive and has been on board, I think, since the beginning. And so bringing in like sort of people who are just about to start training perhaps, or maybe in the middle of some kind of training or in high school even, and trying to give them an opportunity to, I think, produce on as professional a level as possible. Yeah.
So it's like a mentoring sort of program, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of teaching that goes in that's involved with it. It's like a really, especially for the Wellington theatre scene, it's a real, sort of a touchstone. It's kind of like you come through and when you're 16 to 25 and you just do Young and Hungry.
And so what things have we got happening this year?
The first one is York, and it's written by Arthur Meek, and I don't know much about the play, apart from what is it about?
Celia Nicholson directs it. It's a play about a young woman who's like a 15-year-old girl whose mother is dying of cancer, and now the girl has to kind of find her own way.
Is it a comedy?
That's the central kind of thing. It's humorous. I think it's quite funny. There's sex in a tent.
Sex in a tent.
You cannot have sex in a tent without being funny.
It's always about sex with you.
No, all 3 shows, they're all sex and death.
The second play is a really serious play, written by Brendan Miller, and I'm directing it. It's basically about a girl. She gets stabbed in the first minute, dead. Basically, this girl gets the chance to look in her past as well as look in the future, and it's actually a great, beautiful play about like little moments of life and big moments of life. Yeah, so that's Swan Song, and then.
There's RPM, which is kids in cars and Friday night and sex. It's sort of about the kind of that invincibility that I think you have, or that you kind of have when you're young. You get that kind of energy about life, and people break up and get together and hook up and go off and lose their virginity in a back of a Ford Escort.
Obviously, people have come to Young and Hungry many times before, so they'll be back. But now you're pitching sex, cars and death, so you got like a whole bunch of new people coming through. So
I hope so, yeah. It's a really good mix of work, but each of the works I think has a really strong mix of a lot of different feelings and elements. And would you say? I think that's fairly accurate.
Yeah, no, I think like what really annoys me about like plays that are being written for young people is that a lot of times it's quite patronizing.
Right.
And I think in each play of this year's Young and Hungry, there's something that, yes, it has a young spirit, but it can actually engage like audiences from all ages.
Right.
It's been a really enjoyous process working as a director and feeling the fun of these people, like working on a play that doesn't have any kind of, like, it's just having fun.
yeah, it sounds lovely. It really does. The whole thing just sounds.
It's very harmonious.
Harmonious. Look at that.
It's all very zen.
Zen. So what's the dates for people to come and experience some Zen?
June 20th through July 5th.
And tickets, do people just come to Bats, or can they book online, or?
You can book at bats.co.nz, that's the email address, book at bats.co.nz, or 802-4175 is the Bats booking line.
Well, Willem and Jean, I'd like to thank you very much for having a little chat with us today, and I hope it all goes well. I know it'll go off and it'll be fantastic and zen and harmonious and sex and death and cars. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers heaps.